What's happening, my Jacked family? Coach Scott here, jackedafter40.com. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing the best full body resistance band workout for men over 40 to help you get through this time when the gyms are closed and we're in self-isolation. What makes this full body resistance band workout so effective for men over 40 is that it's joint friendly. It begins with movements that are, again, easy on the joints, but also enhances your mind-muscle connection with the target muscles that we're going to be working. It drives some nutrient-rich blood to those muscles to help warm them up, loosen them up, and prime them for the bigger compound movements that we're going to include further into the workout. And we're also going to finish off these muscle groups with a great set extending technique that allows you to train the muscle beyond that point of momentary muscular failure safely while causing enough muscle damage to really spark that growth response. Now, this type of workout that we're going to be doing today. It's high volume in the terms of sets and reps that we're going to be performing, but it's not going to be quite in comparison to the resistance training that we've been doing in the gym when we're trying to get jacked after 40 with the typical jacked after 40 workouts that we've been following. But still, it's going to be one of the better solutions that you can follow during these challenging times. If you enjoyed this workout, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. More than anything, I would love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your insights about this workout in general, as well as how you've been dealing with these challenging times when our gyms are closed and we're in self-isolation. I look forward to hearing from you. Now, let's get to the workout. You'll begin the workout with a quad set. The first exercise is the band over back. This is great for loosening up the shoulder joint, stretching out the chest, just getting some fresh blood flowing to those areas. Great for overall mobility for your upper body here. Next exercise is the band pull apart. Great for working your upper back muscles, the rear delts, really enhancing your mind muscle connection with those muscle groups, as well as getting some nutrient-rich blood flow to them, as well as kind of loosening up, warming up the shoulder joint there. Next, you're going to move on to the Superman. This is one of my favorite movements as of late. Again, it's going to enhance your mind muscle connection with the shoulder, get some shoulder mobility, shoulder stability going on in there, so really stabilizing that shoulder joint. Also, the hip joint as well there too. I want you to really focus on contracting the glutes when you're in that stretched position there. So contract those glutes, contract the hamstring, really enhance that mind muscle connection with those areas. Your core is going to get a great workout from this as well. Really warm up those core muscles. So really brace your abdomen, embrace your core while you're performing this movement. So just great for getting yourself loosened up. A lot of different movements, a lot of different muscle groups, a lot of different joints are going to be warmed up from this single exercise here. And then the last exercise in this quad set is knee ups. So you're just going to attach a band to a pole, something secure. I got it attached to my bedpost here. You can attach it to a dresser. You're going to want something that's secure or heavy here. And you're just driving that knee upwards. You can play around without using your arms in this movement. You can play around trying the opposite arm in this movement as you would be if you were running out there. I just found it most comfortable to use the same arm, same knee driving up. So both of them on the right side here as you're seeing. I just found it was great for balance and just overall mind muscle connection here. So again, you're kind of getting that shoulder loosened up by bringing that arm up there, but really getting the hips and the quads and even in the stretch position, focus on contracting the glutes in the bottom as well. So it's a great lower body and somewhat of an upper body warm up is here. So you're going to do those 4 exercises, repeat them 3 times for as many reps as possible, and then we'll move on to the next set. The next quad set begins with a crossbody chest fly. You can go from low to high, you can go right in the middle, you can go high to low with this movement depending on what you're attaching it to. You can attach it to a pole, you can attach it to a bedpost as I am here. You can attach it to a hook that's secured in the wall. Something like I've done this with kind of the curtain rods that I have here, hooks that I have for my curtain rods on there. So look for anything in the house that's secure that you can attach this resistance band to, and really focus on enhancing your mind muscle connection with the pecs there. So really get a great squeeze in the chest. Don't be afraid to hold that squeeze for a brief moment, nice and control on the way down, feeling the stretch. but really driving some nutrient-rich blood to the pecs. A nice, safe, joint-friendly movement for the chest, really going to prime it for the movements to come. The second exercise is a straight arm pull down. Again, you can wrap the resistance band around a pole. I've got it right on a door here. So you don't need it. If you don't have any kind of hooks or attachments to secure it to in your house, a door works incredibly well for this. And really, again, enhancing your mind-muscle connection with your lats here, with your back. Really feel all the different muscles working with this exercise as you're driving that band downwards, feel the lats contracting all the way down, kind of lower aspect of your back, kind of that Christmas tree area. If you're super lean here, you can really see the details, see that Christmas tree popping out the bottom of your kind of low to mid back there. So, and you feel the muscles working just kind of below the armpits as well. So a lot of upper back, mid back, lower back kind of muscles working with this exercise. Next, you're gonna move on to the legs. We're gonna do a leg extension. Again, if you have a pole in the house, if not, I just brought a little bench. You can bring a chair up against your bed or dresser, attach that resistance band to the bottom there, and then hook it up around your ankle, shin area. You can do both legs at the same time here if you have a nice thick heavy resistance band. It's also a time saver, or you can do it each leg individually as well, and really enhance your mind-muscle connection with that target muscle. Really, that's the key to this, enhancing that mind-muscle connection, feeling the different aspects of your quads working here. Subtle little changes can steer the neural drive, steer your focus to the teardrop, or the quad sweep, or the rectus femoris right up in the middle. Or you may feel that you're kind of compensating using a lot of the upper hip kind of area muscles there, the tensor fascia lata. So really be aware of the muscles that you're working with this exercise. And then shifting to the leg curl, again, same situation. And for myself, you're gonna be bringing that chair or bench back. You can do this outside as well. If you have like a flagpole or a tree, wrap it around that. And if you have a chair in the grass, it may secure you a little bit better. Hardwood floors here, my chair was sliding, so I just brought in a mat that had a rubber grip on the bottom there and brought that into the room here to set my chair on so I wouldn't slide. You can do it both legs at the same time. If you're only using one leg, your foot that's planted firmly on the ground can secure you from sliding as well. Really, again, once again, the individual legs, if you do it one leg at a time, can enhance your mind-muscle connection even further. You'll be surprised at how much cramping can go on with this exercise. It's very intense, and once again, with all these exercises, you are just performing them for as many reps as possible. There's all going to depend on the resistance of your band, your strength, your level of experience. So no set target rep range for any of these, but we're going to repeat that quad set 3 times. Next, we have a tricep for the major muscle groups, the chest, back, and legs. These are more compound movements. They're going to be a bit more challenging. We're going to do some push-ups first, placing that the band over your back, slide your hands in there, and this is surprising. It's deceptively more challenging than a traditional push-up. You may be able to do 40 to 60 push-ups with your own body weight, put that resistance band around your back, and you may only be able to do 10 to 12 repetitions here. So just find that comfortable position with the band on your upper back, kind of across your shoulders there, as well with your hands. Perform as many reps as possible with that exercise. Immediately move on to the wide grip pull down. I've got the attachment on my door frame right here. I just got it, not attachment, looped around my door frame right here. As you're seeing, that works incredibly well. If you have a tree branch outside, you can hook it up to that as well. Or as I mentioned earlier, a hook that you have on your wall, maybe for a curtain rod or something like that. Third exercise in this tricep is the squat, and you want a nice thick resistance band. Ideally for this one, you're going to loop it around your head in there, so it's going to be looped around your neck, upper back area, so make sure it's in a comfortable position there. If your band is got too much resistance and you can't loop it around your back, you can always just hold it in front as well, kind of like a front squat as well. You may even find that more comfortable than having the band looped around your back as it is in here. Once again, performing as many reps as possible. Repeat that for 3 sets. So go bang, bang, bang for each exercise for these quad sets and supersets, and then maybe take, I'd say, 45 to 60 seconds rest at the most between sets. You're repeating each of these trisets or quad sets for 3 sets. So just take as much time as you need in between each of these sets, but no rest between exercises other than the setup for each exercise. And you may find that you can just ram through them. You may not even need rest because you're going from one muscle group to the next. It can kind of make it more of an endurance style workout here. Now this next tricep is where we get to have a little bit of fun with some set extending techniques. We're going to be performing a loaded stretch here. So on the final rep of each of these exercises, we're going to hold the stretch for as long as we can. So first exercise is the chest press. Again, if you have a pole, you can wrap it around a pole. I've got it hooked onto my lower bedpost here. And you're going to perform as many reps as you can and play around with the positioning, where you're driving out, like how wide your grip is on this resistance band, where you're driving outwards. I find it wasn't as comfortable bringing those the resistance band, the hands together, so just kind of keeping it outside of my shoulders there. And on your final repetition, take a little step forward and hold that stretch position as long as you can. You're going to find that your muscles are going to start shaking towards the end here. It's incredibly challenging. So as soon as you burn out from that exercise, holding the stretch as long as you can, you're going to move into a seated row. I've got hooked around my dresser here, feet up against the dresser. And again, for as many reps as possible here. And with this exercise, with a lot of these exercises, I want you really holding that contraction for a brief second as well. So really making these exercises more challenging than they are if you're just kind of going through them with a normal tempo. So really, again, enhancing that mind-muscle connection, but making yourself work harder by squeezing that contraction for everything that it's got, feeling that stretch, nice controlled, squeeze that contraction for everything that it's got. And on the final rep, you're going to hold the stretch for as long as possible. I was playing around here, just as soon as that final rep was done, I reached a little bit more forward on the band to create greater resistance. I kind of rounded my upper back a bit to enhance that stretch, and then sat right back up and just trying to maintain that tension, maintain that loaded stretch, and just holding it for as long as I can, which is great for us men over 40. Loaded stretching is great for increasing our tendon strength, the thickness of our tendons, which is great for reducing the risk of injury. It also increases our growth hormone. So including loaded stretches in our training, I have a video included up above as well as down below to the benefits of loaded stretching, whether you're using resistance band or dumbbells. The final exercise is a pull through. So again, attaching it to a pole, bedpost, dresser, and reaching between your legs to grab it. Take a few steps forward. You want to feel that tension in the hamstrings. So very much like a Romanian deadlift or a stiff leg deadlift, we're going to be driving the hips backwards. Just keep those knees nice and soft. You're not thinking of bending the knees, but if you keep them soft, as you're driving those hips back, they're naturally going to bend on their own a little bit to get you further in that range of motion. Just kind of stop when you reach that point where your hips can't drive back any further, and marinate in that stretch. Really feel the tension in the hamstrings, and then drive your hips forward, squeezing your glutes in that peak contraction. So you're getting a great hamstring work here as well as the glutes. On the final repetition, you're gonna hold that stretch for as long as you can, really, again, marinating in that stretch, really feeling the tension in the hamstrings. This is great. You should feel no lower back involvement in this exercise whatsoever. Should be all hamstrings and glutes. You'll see, maybe you see this in the camera here, but my legs were definitely shaking towards the end. Again, as many reps as possible, and repeating this tricep 3 times. Take as much rest as you need between those sets, but between each exercise, bang, 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 one after another. Next, we have a quad set that begins with the tricep press down. Again, you can loop this around your door as I have here, or you can bring it outside, loop it around a tree branch. Again, you can loop it around a hook if you have a little sturdy curtain rod in the area as well. Again, just like a normal tricep press down here, I've got my hands facing each other, so a neutral grip, really squeezing that contraction in the bottom, again, enhancing that mind-muscle connection with the triceps, and just getting as much out of this movement as you possibly can, making this as hard on yourself as you possibly can by squeezing the contraction, controlling the stretch on the way up, working through the full range of motion. Next, you're gonna move on to the hammer curl. So you're gonna step on the resistance band. You can use both feet here, depending on your band. If it's a shorter band, you can have one foot in there as well. The wider you have your feet, the more challenging it's gonna be. The lower you're grabbing on the band, the more challenging it's gonna be, especially near the peak of the contraction there. So again, as many reps as possible as you can with this hammer curl. Next, you're gonna move on to a lateral raise. Here for my band, I found it best with just 1 foot on the band to make sure that I'm getting a full range of motion. 2 bands, probably 2 feet on the band would have made it a little bit more challenging. I've got my thumbs up a bit here, and I'm not going much above my shoulder. I'm just working within my own personal range of motion that feels comfortable with me. Don't be afraid to finish with partial reps with this exercise. If you fatigue early on, even if you fatigue near the end, crank some more out with just some partial reps. Just keep your arms locked in place. Don't be shrugging up. Don't use your traps to overcompensate, or other muscles, supporting muscles, to overcompensate in this movement. Just shorten that range of motion, really burn those delts out. And then you're gonna finish with a split squat. I like having a heavy duty resistance band for this exercise and grabbing it pretty low on that band to create greater resistance. And really focusing all the attention on the lead leg mainly for this exercise. That's the one that's going to get the greater resistance from the band, but you can also drive off that back leg a little bit. You're going to feel the rectus femoris get some activation when you do that in that back leg there. So this is great for the overall thighs, quads, hamstrings, glutes, and you can kind of shift your body position to kind of steer that neural drive. If you lean forward a bit more, you might get some more glute activation there, a little bit more upright, might get some more quad activation there. So be playful. That's the whole point of these resistance band workouts here. Have fun. Be playful with your movements, with these exercises. Really make sure the most important thing is enhancing your mind-muscle connection with each of these exercises. Next, we have a quad set that begins with the overhead tricep extension with the attachment down low. So once again, I'm using the bedpost here. If you're wrapping around the pole, just keep it down low. So elbows are up above your head, really making sure that you're feeling the tension on the triceps. Try not to get your shoulders overly involved in this exercise. Performing it for as many reps as possible, and on the final rep, you're gonna hold the loaded stretch here. You'll see me kind of moving around the room. I'm just trying to show some different angles so you can see my elbow positioning. I'm just slightly flared out. You can play around with that. As you're embracing that stretch, keep that tension. I want you kind of forcing your hands upwards a little bit, even though you're in that stretch position, to keep that tension on the triceps. You should really feel a great burning sensation in the triceps with this exercise here. And just play around in or out and just see if you can kind of shift that neural drive while you're enhancing that mind-muscle connection during the stretch. Next exercise is a 45-degree bicep curl. So if you have 2 bands, it's ideal. You can get both arms working at the same time. Silly me, the day before the gyms all closed during this quarantine, I left one of my red bands at the gym, and I'm sure it's found a new home with someone else at this point. I'm gonna have to order a new pair of these, the red bands. I have a pair of the purple bands that you've seen throughout the video. So ideally, both arms at the same time as a time saver. So you'll need 2 individual bands for that. If you only have 1 band, you can do what I'm doing here, 1 arm at a time. So very much like an incline dumbbell bicep curl, with that angle of the bicep being back behind you. Really get a great stretch at the bottom there and keep that upper arm locked in place. So don't bring that elbow forward as you're curling up. On the final repetition, a loaded stretch here. So get your arm almost in that fully stretched position, just a slight bend there to keep the tension on the bicep, making sure that you're contracting the bicep the entire time as you're kind of marinating in that stretch and enhancing your mind-muscle connection with the biceps during that time. Next, you're gonna move on to a face pull. Again, you can wrap it around any pole that you may have in the house, or a hook if you have. It has to be up a little bit higher on a hook. That works just as well. If you have to sit down, you can use the bedpost as well. Just sit down on the ground like we did for the seated rows and do your face pulls there as well. As many reps as possible for the face pull, and really driving those thumbs back. You want to get some external rotation there. So not only are you driving your elbows back, but you're trying to externally rotate those your arms to really kind of get those shoulders involved, really strengthen and improve that rotator cuff there. And then you are finishing off with a kneeling hip extension. So get down on the floor, on your knees, and get a heavy duty resistance band, ideally for this one. And ideally, make sure that you're secure. You're not going to be sliding back. You want to kind of move forward a little bit more, so maybe better if you're on a carpet or something like that, that's going to not pull you back too much, but you want to make sure you're feeling resistance throughout this entire range of motion here. So even when you're kneeling, kind of squatting down, you want to make sure that you still have some tension on that resistance band in that position, and then thrusting forward through the hips and squeezing your glutes in the peak contraction here. Again, as many reps as possible here. This is great. Improving the glute strength is great for improving your lower back strength as well. So an excellent movement. It's going to transfer over to other movements once we're able to get back into the gym. So again, cycling through those exercises with no rest between them, and then at the end of the set, after you're done the kneeling hip extensions there, you can take a little bit of a break before repeating it again, or you can just continue cycling through it if you feel up to it, if you feel recovered enough at that point. Now it's time to blast your abs with an incredible tricep, beginning with the kneeling crunch. Now you can loop the band around your door or a tree branch, as I'm doing here, and the whole point of this movement is to kind of round your upper back. We see a lot of people making the mistake of keeping their back flat through here, and they're just kind of, all the movement is taking place at the hips. You want the movement to be taking place kind of the upper back area, rounding that upper back and crunching with this movement, really feeling the abdominals, upper abdominals, mid abdominals, doing a lot of the work here. The second exercise is a jackknife. You're going to need a heavy duty resistance band for this one, attaching it pretty high. You'll find that the toughest part is just getting yourself into position, looping your foot into that band, your feet into the band, getting your hands down on the ground, and getting yourself into position. This is a great exercise to place some extra emphasis on the lower abdominals there. So really focusing on tucking your knees inwards, really curling that pelvis inwards. So kind of bringing your pelvis up towards your shoulders with this exercise here. So fantastic. Bring those knees up towards your hands, up towards your elbows there, and really feeling the lower abdominals doing a lot of the work with this exercise. The third exercise is a pull-off press. Phenomenal movement. You're going to be working a lot of the deep core movement muscles with this exercise, transverse abdominals, obliques, a lot of engagement with this movement. It looks so simple, yet it is so effective. You're going to feel all the tension in your abdominals, in your core, when you're pushing that band outwards. You bring it in, some of that tension eases off a little bit, but you want to maintain constant tension throughout this. So make sure that band that's looped around the pole, make sure you're stepping far away from that pole to create enough resistance to really feel a great deal of tension with those core muscles. And last but not least, we're going to work your tibialis anterior and your calves with a great superset here. Doing some dorsiflexion with the resistance band, so tying it around a pole, bedpost, whatever it is, sitting down on the ground, kind of in a stretched position here. You want a lot of tension on that resistance band, so you're sitting kind of further away from that pole there or the bedpost, and bring those toes towards you. So pointing those toes towards your body, hands firmly placed on the ground. This is an incredible ab exercise as well, especially when your core is already fried from the 3 sets that you did of those abdominal exercises there. Your core is going to be shaking with this. So perform as many reps as possible with this. You should be able to get 20, maybe 25 repetitions with this exercise, as long as your abs don't give out beforehand. If you do find they do give out too soon, you can sit on a chair, securing yourself a little bit better so your abs aren't doing as much of work. But who doesn't want to work their abs a little bit more here? Really challenge their body in a unique way. So after you're done with the dorsiflexion there, you're going to move on to standing calf raises. Like the squat, kind of looping that band around your neck, kind of upper back area. And it's you're standing on it with your toes there. So your toes are holding it in place. You're allowing your heels to drop, get in that full stretch position there. Even briefly pause in the bottom. You don't want to rush through this exercise at all. You want to embrace that stretch. You definitely don't want to be bouncing up and down with this exercise, because the calves, like, you end up taking the Achilles tendon. It's very elastic muscle there. So the faster you're moving, the more the tendon is going to absorb the tension. You want the muscle absorbing the tension. So pause in that bottom, engage the calves, contract them before you rise up, squeeze at the top, and then lower yourself nice and controlled and pause in the bottom there. So as many reps as possible, those 2 exercises, repeat 3 times repeat 2 times for a total of 3 sets. Take rest as needed between sets, but try to go bang bang between each exercise for that set. And there you have it, the best full body resistance band workout for men over 40. Now I recommend you check out the best full body gym workout for men over 40 to help you build your best body ever once the gyms reopen. You can check it out right here. And before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Jacked After 40. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. Don't forget to drop a comment down below. Of course, have yourself an absolutely amazing day. I'll catch you in the next video.